So are we rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
As it were. Right, episode 2. Yes. Here it goes.
Official 2.
Yeah, exactly. The actual episode.
About
2.
10 weeks late.
Yeah, exactly.
As
Yeah.
usual.
Apologies for the lateness of this, but that's your problem really. So yeah. Today we're going to talk about a couple of gigs that we recently went to, and then we're going to go straight into albums of the year. First thing I wanted to talk about is the Alexisonfire farewell show, which me and Lewis went to about 2 months ago. But yeah, it is worth talking about.
Good show.
Yeah, what did you think, Lewis?
Really good. I think maybe it was heightened by the fact that the crowd were really up for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because Alexisonfire are a good band. They're fun to see. But I've seen them before when the crowd aren't into it, and it's a bit like meh. I don't know, but like because everyone's screaming all the words and everyone's like jumping around like a nutter. So.
I was going to say that I think there's an extent to which like the just absolute adulation that was just coming from the crowd. It was like waves of adulation, and everyone was completely captivated, and I think that did help, but I think that still I think they still played absolutely out of their skin. And really good set list, really good. Buy the vinyl when it comes out. I'd recommend to everyone. Also supported. I actually really want to talk about Ghost of 1000 because they're really under talked about British hardcore band who made easily, in my opinion, I think this is like, I don't know what you think about this, Lewis. Have you listened to them, Will or Mills?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually saw them at the University of Leeds years ago.
Yeah, they played a lot of toilet
East Pack tour
yeah.
with Ghost of 1000 and
was that like
some other
Anti-Flag
bands
and
that were shite. Yes,
yeah,
Anti-Flag.
that year, yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah, they're
but
awful.
Ghost of 1000 were incredible.
Yeah.
They were
good, I'm
absolutely
glad you like
incredible.
them.
Yeah, they were awesome, and I was really upset when they split up. And then obviously they like reformed for this Alexisonfire thing. I don't actually know what's going on with them. Are they reformed or was it just for the show?
They said that it was like, they were like, at the end they were like, well yeah, that's the end, yeah, sorry, and everyone was like booing, and they were like, stop booing, that's what CDs are for, and I was like, no, I was totally, because I bumped into a guy in the crowd who had got the train down from Cardiff just to see Ghost of 1000 and stuff like that. Like there is a serious. I thought I was a fanboy. Like seriously, I don't know, because I've invested a lot of money in that band over the years through merch and whatever. And like, but yeah, they made. This is where the fight begins in like 2007, which I bought completely on a whim, because I was working in the video shop at Apple
in the video shop, yeah.
And like it got like one of my paychecks, and I was like, love the look of that album, and just bought it, and it turned out to be one of the best hardcore albums of the last 10 years, like better than Orchestra of Wolves even, and better than all those other bands. Like there were a lot of British hardcore bands who were coming out around that time, like Gallows and all these other bands, and there was kind of a bit of a movement, and that album was like absolutely, for me anyway, particularly just absolutely knocked me out of the park. And I think, yeah, like go and buy their record because they deserve a lot of money because they're amazing. And if you like Refused, if you like kind of rock, like punk and roll, which is one of the stupidest genre categories. No, I read that in it was probably in a broadsheet. Like, it was like, noted punk and roll. It was the Bronx. They were like, punk and roll stalwarts. Stalwarts is another broadsheet thing that I hate. But yeah, so and then
good band.
So like Johnny Storm and the Stalwarts. Yeah.
The ship that they try.
Yeah, exactly. And they were as always amazing, I think, and I think you'll agree, Lewis, probably.
Oh yeah. I had the world's worst cold ever, and I felt like death, so I kind of just stood at the back of it because otherwise I would have been like spreading vile sick and crap over everyone in the pit.
That would have made it even better.
Probably, yeah. No,
bit more punk and roll.
I kind of felt like if I went down the pit, I would have been one of those knobheads that faint and like they bring out the emergency service. And I'm like, I'm fine, really.
Yeah. The other thing, and this is just me talking again, so but
you're not sorry.
I went to see Tubelord's final show. So you're nodding. Do you know and or like Tubelord?
I do. I was upset that I missed it because.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was supposed to be there, but unfortunately didn't quite get there in the end.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
No,
classic New Year's Eve. Plan to go somewhere, never get there.
No, it didn't happen. Yeah. No, it was a really fun, absolutely ridiculous night. Like so. This is kind of for context for a lot of people who don't know, because they kind of like certain people who like them know who they are, and people who like all the bands in that scene know who they are, but otherwise they're not kind of. I saw an NME review of them a couple of weeks ago, and like typical to that magazine, who gave Tubelord 6 out of 10, thus showing how on the ball those guys are. Like, I don't know, but yeah. So they're not that well known, but there's this kind of little group of bands who kind of call themselves, or got called, like math pop. And Tubelord were one of the bands at the foot. I know.
Exactly. Genre name.
Can we just stop naming shit?
Yeah, like, hey, you're the journo here. I don't know. You've got like, you know.
Yeah, but there's not.
I'm not
even going to get into this.
That's not. Math Pop was not your fault. You know. They were amazing. Tall Ships, who are another band of that scene, came out and did like Bryan Adams covers and all this other stuff, and did like party music, and that was really fun. Tangled Hair. Did Foo Fighters covers. It was just a really, really fun, really silly evening. And Tubelord, again, another show where it was like, there's been a lot of really good farewell shows this year, like the Kerouac one and things like that, where everyone kind of, where they're just like, you're all stood in a room and there's a lot of people who are just totally devoted to this band, who never really got the credit they deserved, apart from Alexisonfire, who don't need more credit, but like Kerouac and Tubelord and other bands like this, who kind of never really got their dues, and everyone's just like screaming all the words, and I don't know, it was amazing. So, yeah, that was really, really great, and they'll be missed. And again, go and buy their record because they're a great band. Right, crack on, albums of the year. So, what I think we'll do is just do like, Lewis, you like, has everyone else got 10?
No.
I have 10.
Got 10. I've got 10. You've got 10.
I've got 2.
I've got 2.
Lewis got 2.
Step up,
right.
Step up.
You've got like 3 or something, right? So, yeah.
That's 3 or 4.
Right. Okay. Well, what I'll do is, Mills, if you go through your like 10 to 6,
okay,
and any of them you want to talk about, because some of them might come up later, so like any of them you want to talk about, just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Okay. My top 10 of this year.
We wish we had music, but we don't.
Yeah.
I might write some just for that.
Exactly. It's my party streamers.
Yeah.
Right. So number 10, Heavy in the Day by Canterbury. I'm not really going to say anything about this record, purely on the basis that I am still slightly embarrassed that it's in there.
I was going to say, you just took the piss out of us for Menzingers and the Canterbury.
Yeah, the Menzingers are called the fucking Menzingers. Okay, Canterbury at least sounds legit. Yeah. Even if they kind of suck a little.
No, I like both. That's the thing.
Canterbury, Canterbury are fine. Canterbury are fine. Number 9, Landscapes, Life Gone Wrong. Incredible band. There isn't really much I can say about it, except go listen to it because it's pretty awesome.
What's it like? I don't want to say genre-wise because I know. But like
heavy as fuck.
Okay.
Sounds like the inside of a prosthetic leg.
That's an amazing.
This is what the show needed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cutting.
Surreal. Exactly.
Surreal
analogies for hardcore bands. Like, yeah, go on. Sorry.
I hope they use that actually on the next record.
Yeah,
if you do, you know to come to.
If you're watching, guys, which you are, make no mistake. Go on. Sorry.
Number 8, Deftones. I think that's going to be in a lot of...
Too low.
Yeah. There were a lot of records in this year.
This is madness, yeah.
Fucking whatever, okay. At least it's there. And I love Deftones, so it's fine.
Right.
Like, I'm sure they're not going to discriminate what number they are. Just, they're there.
If you're watching,
guys,
which you are.
Sorry, Chino. I love you.
Exactly.
But, there were a lot of great records. Number 7, Death Grips, The Money Store. Another one which I think...
we talked about at length later.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that to you. Number 6, The Chariot, One Wing. Which I don't need to, I don't need to say anything about. Because if you watched the last one, you would have seen 14.30 minutes of these guys talking about...
Not enough. Yeah.
The Chariot. So that's my top 6.
Great.
Yeah.
Sweet, okay. Well, that is... I'll quickly blast through my 10 to 6. Number 10, Gallows, self-titled. It's not as good as Orchestra of Wolves. Yeah, there's a lot of flaming and hatred and all this sort of stuff. Give them a chance. Their next record will be really, really good. If anyone's seen it, I think as well, I can say this particularly to you two because I've seen them live with you about 3 times now with Wade, and I think they are as good as they've ever been, if not in some ways better, because they're more like, it's not just like frontman centric. I don't know. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're a tight unit and they play.
Yeah, but for someone who doesn't actually like Gallows, me for example, how would you sell that? I mean, I love Wade as much as the next person, but yeah, I'm not feeling it. So
Okay.
I mean, original Gallows, I hated that shit too.
I think, for me, to be honest, I think like the reason why New Gallows is still interesting is because they're really trying on this record a lot of weird new things. There's a track on there that is straight up like 80s kind of Minor Threat sort of sound. It's just like full on blasting through kind of thing. I don't know, there's loads of really interesting ideas. And then right at the end there's this monster kind of huge breakdown which is in like drop B, and there's all these weird ideas that they're trying kind of from all, and they're growing into a really, really interesting band. So I really interested to see where they go. So that would be how to sell it, but it's still Gallows. If you don't like them, like you never will. I guess. Like,
Can't say better than that.
Yeah. Number 9, Brotherhood of the Lake, Desperation of the English Way, Volume 1. Lewis will probably talk about that more later. This is a more unique one. Empires of Light by Double Silver Soul, at number 8. I really still, I love the sound of these guys. Like they used to be kind of in vogue, and now people give them a lot of shit. I don't know what's happened really. Like
it's because they used to be very MySpace.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
it was. They exploded at that point where like Bring Me the Horizon did the same thing, and it was that kind of ilk.
And they have the haircuts. That's
The lead singer has a haircut which just like, that's bad. Like, you can't
just stop.
You can't like. I feel it's hard for me to
them
sell.
back.
It's really
It really
hard for me
does.
to sell them to people when that guy's got that haircut, because if you look past the haircut and listen to the music, they've got things that are like, it's like more poppy. It sounds stupid, but more poppy versions of like ISIS and Neurosis and those kind of. But that's where their influence comes from. Like really
Which is
interesting.
why I can actually listen to them.
Yeah. But it's like that's where they're coming from, and they're much more interesting than people give them credit for. So and it's a really it's really progressive, really spacey. I love it. Number 7, Every Time I Die, X Lives, really good. Just it's Every Time I Die. I don't know. I think the theme for pretty much all of my albums is established bands, apart from Brotherhood of the Lake, is established bands making records that weren't quite as good as their last record. And I think that's very true for Every Time I Die. It's a really good album, but it's still not quite as good as the previous one, which was probably The Big Dirty. I don't know. I can't even remember. Number 6, Converge, All We Love, We Leave Behind. I don't need to talk about that.
Well, no, because I'm going to talk about that in depth.
I'll leave that. I'll devolve that. Will, go for it. Because we're getting into 5 to 1 now. So you go for it. Do yours.
All right. I didn't have them in any particular order.
Yeah, no way.
But Veils, it's not full length, but I just want to put out there, Clarity is one of the best things I've heard this year, just in general. Yeah. And seeing them live is quite an experience as well. They've only got 20 minutes of material, but it's just intense.
Did I see them at Heavy?
Do you remember, were you sober?
Were you awake?
No, I didn't see them at Heavy, but I think I would have seen them at Heavy if there were not something else that I was at, obviously. But I'm sure they were amazing.
Yeah, they were goddamn brilliant. Yeah. Really brilliant. That's been a real. I've played that EP over
and basically,
over
I just
over
can't
again.
wait until they release a full length this year, which I'm sure they will do. I think they have something planned in the works. Other than that, Gojira.
Lawful Sauvage.
Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Have you never heard Gojira?
No.
You've never listened to Gojira? How is it wrong?
Get on the internet, Lewis. Where are you
They're a French technical
amazingness.
metal band.
Well,
that may, you may hear that and think, oh shit, what's that now? They're actually incredibly good, and they don't sound like much else out there really.
No.
Just their sheer use of like pick scrapes and weird harmonics.
Yeah.
And very odd structures to their songs.
Okay.
It's really, really interesting, and like sort of robot vocals. Stuff
All
like
right.
that. Yeah, it's.
I
it's
kind of
really
feel
strange.
they're an acquired taste, but if they're not your taste, then your taste is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I will lose respect for you.
Yeah,
So
a
I
little
think
bit.
this is it's
Yeah,
very intelligent,
but-
their music as well. I mean, that whole concept album to do with whales.
No, you don't need to. No, you don't need to.
Yeah,
me.
it's
I
just like,
love Gojira. I think they're amazing.
I'm like the Amish of the hardcore world here.
But also to bring more metal to the table,
Neurosis, yeah.
On a Found in Decay is an amazing album. If not just for the track My Heart for Deliverance, and I think everyone should listen to Neurosis because I just bummed them.
How do you think they've moved on in this album? Like, what do you think is there? Have they added anything? Because I haven't really listened to it very much. Is there anything? Is it still them? And is that why it's good?
They've mellowed out a bit since their last one, which I forget the name of, but. Yeah, and they've added some weird sort of like tribal sounds, but they've all done stuff like that. But they've added some new ones, and just wrote some amazing songs. Really.
Well, that's cool. Like, I don't know, because a lot of bands, have done more of the same, but just better. Like, so I think if that,
I still rate Given to Their Rising. Now I've remembered it. Their previous
Yeah, yeah.
album really, really highly, but I think that equals it.
Mm.
So
They're a cracking band.
and also see them live because it's not. It is intense, but it's
not
different.
fun.
It's in a different
Yeah.
way to like hardcore intense. You kind of sit there and it's a visual and aural experience. They have these big screens. And it's-
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, obviously it's an aural experience. But yeah, they have these big screens and they have big, like 2-minute drones, and people are just like, what the hell is happening here? You probably need to be on some sort of hallucinogen to enjoy it properly, but
No,
it's
I love
an amazing,
They're goddamn great band. You two are still like love to get all experience.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I saw them, it was a French metal festival.
Was it
At 1 a.m. in the pouring rain, and it was just
Goddamn.
the weirdest experience. It was just
You don't want to watch any races then, that'll just make you upset.
yeah, it was
like,
depressing but also awesome. So
yeah.
no,
that was the garnish to an otherwise well presented dish.
That's just me ruining everything.
No.
Oh, you gave me the giggles, man.
Alright. Are you ready to do yours, Lewis?
Oh, we finished. It was finished.
No, if you've got more,
that's-
we'll go.
That's it.
My section's.
Are we on, by the way?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah,
My
cool.
section's slim as hell. Gallows has come in
Yeah.
from this session because I did enjoy it. It's a good album. I was kind of disappointed with a few of the tracks.
Mm.
I think there's some absolute bangers, but like towards the end of the album, like I know you really like the track
love
Odessa,
all
and you
the-
love
I love
Odessa,
that,
and
yeah.
like I just couldn't get on board with it. I don't know, it just seemed a bit. I don't know. Adding on Every Time I Die.
Ringing endorsement there.
Okay, my proper two albums. His first is Brotherhood of the Lake.
Yeah.
Desperation is Ink's Way. Goddamn, like it's not an album that's like it's breaking any boundaries. I don't think. Like it's got like they have some interesting sounds and a lot of crazy. I'm not a guitarist, but sort of like
squalling, kind of horrible feedback noise, which I love. I actually love that stuff.
But like it just goes off. Like I think there are a few weak tracks, so it's not like I don't think it's a stellar album. Like sometimes there's a few tracks I'm like, I could skip this. Like
I had a critic who described that album as a black glove down the throat. I think that's I genuinely think that's a really apt way of describing it. It's a dark and angry and crusty and squalling, horrible, noisy experience, but it's just great.
Yeah. So that's I would definitely get that. If you like kind of heavy, kind of screaming down your throat kind of music, like, it's really hits all the right notes.
I think the other thing as well, like what really helped with Brotherhood of the Lake for me was seeing them live. That really made me fall together. Like, because god damn, like that was a real shock. Like I was like, oh okay, well I'll go see these guys, and then just pushed my face into the turf, like, and just like it was they're so good, and like I just kept I felt a bit dizzy after that show. They were so good.
So yeah, definitely, I think it's a fantastic album, and I think again, I don't want to be like I really enjoy like the album art and the whole style of it as well. I think that kind of for me that also plays in a bit of a knobhead in that sense. Like if it's a nice presented album, I really enjoy that.
I just want to say, like you said, I'm a bit of a knobhead, and I was just like, so I don't.
No, it's not in like the way that if a band presented they're stylized. That really influences me as well.
No, I get it because it you get what they're trying to say with the entire album. And
it just really works for me. And then my favourite album of 2000.